Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to be doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18. And here, this is where Maharaj Parikshit gets cursed by the Brahmin, and that's why this whole Srimad Bhagavatam came to be, because Shukdev Goswami was speaking it to Maharaj Parikshit because he only had 7 days to live. Amazing way to utilize time. I was thinking this morning only just how much time I'm wasting. I mean, it's not even, it's so bad, it's so bad. I mean, I'm literally only, this might be the only thing that I'm doing other than chanting, and that too is like very minimal at the moment because I'm traveling, and that's just so many excuses, right? It's really bad. And yeah Anyways, so let us call out to Bhagwan Shri Krishna, and let us read the chapter 18. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dear Bhagwan Shri Krishna, please help us understand what is important, how to not waste time, and please help us get there. Please help us have that intellect in the moment, not just overall uber intellect, but over intellect in the moment, so that we can um, do bhajan all the time instead of thinking stupid thoughts that are completely meaningless and doing stupid activities that are completely meaningless. It's just mind-boggling how much time I'm wasting. It's ridiculous. Please help me not do that anymore. Please help me understand on a cellular level. Okay, so let us read the chapter. Chapter 18, Maharaj Parikshit cursed by a Brahmana boy. 1. Sri Suta Goswami said, due to the mercy of God, Sri Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Maharaj Parikshit, though stuck by the weapon of the son of Drona in his mother's womb, could not be burned. This was Ashwatthama had thrown the Brahmastra at his mother Uttara's womb, where he was at the moment. And but he could not. Krishna Bhagwan had protected him. So he had said, so I was listening to a lecture where they had said that it's not that Krishna Bhagwan could have protected him from outside, but he is Bhakta Vatsal. He gets bound by his devotees, and he was bound by Arjun. So he wanted to know who this person is. He wanted to meet this person. So he actually went into the womb and he saw Maharaj Parikshit at that time. So then he was giving the difference between seeing him versus worshipping him. So he said Maharaj Parikshit at that time saw him. He didn't do darshan of him. He didn't worship him. He just saw him. Then at the last 7 days, that's when he did darshan of him. Even though he didn't see him, he didn't see him with his eyes. He saw him with his ears. He heard the Bhagavad Gita. And that's when he actually did darshan of him, because that was worship. That was not just seeing. Dekhna versus darshan karna in Hindi. So my goodness, I love those stories. Text 2. Furthermore, Maharaj Parikshit was always consciously surrendered to God, and therefore he was neither afraid nor overwhelmed by fear due to a snake bird which was to bite him because of the fury of a Brahmana boy. Okay, they're not telling the whole story, it seems like. 3, as to why the snake bird was biting him and why the Brahmana boy was furious. Are they gonna not? Okay, let me tell the story very briefly. He went to Rishi's house. I forget the name of the Rishi, and the Rishi was in meditation. He was in dhyan, so he wasn't paying attention to Maharaj Parikshit. And Maharaj Parikshit temporarily went insane, arranged by Krishna, probably because he didn't go insane about things like that. But he was like, "Why are you not giving?" He said, "Can I have water or something?" And Maharaj, the Rishi was in dhyan. He wasn't hearing him. So he got angry and he put a dead snake around the rishis. Maharaj Parikshit put a dead snake around the neck of the rishi, and the rishi's son cursed him that you only are going to have 7 days to live. And that curse was the snake bird, which was to bite him. And by then, Maharaj Parikshit was like, "Oh my goodness, what have I done? This is so bad. I wish I hadn't done that." Not because of before even the Brahmana boy, but he felt so the reason he then when the rishi got up from his dhyan and the Brahmana boy told him, his son told him what happened, then the rishi was like, "No, why are you doing this? Go reverse it, go fix it." Like, no, that's not okay, that's okay, I mean, it doesn't matter. The rishi was like, well, why would you give him this huge of a punishment for this tiny of a offense? And it's not even an offense, it's okay. But the Maharaj Parikshit said, "No, it's okay, I want to quit my body, it's fine, let's go ahead with this." And that's when he went to people walking around, what should I do with the last 7 days of my life, that way. So if you have 7 days to live, do Bhagavad Gita for 7 days. Follow in Maharaj Parikshit's footsteps. Text 3. Furthermore, after leaving all of his associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple to the son of Vyas, Shukdev Goswami, and for the last 7 days. Thus, he was able to understand the actual position of God and at last gave up his material body on the bank of Ganga. So, he just very succinctly said all of this. 4. This was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of God, of whom the Vedic hymns sing, and who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of having misconceptions even at the last moment of their lives. 5. As long as the great powerful son of Abhimanyu remains emperor of the world, there is no chance that the personality of Kali will flourish. 6. The very day and moment God, Sri Krishna, left this earth, the personality of Kali, who promotes all kinds of irreligious activities, came into this world. Basically, the day and moment Krishna left, Kali came. So basically, as long as Parikshit Maharaj remains emperor of the world, Parikshit Maharaj is the son of Uttara and Abhimanyu, there is no chance that the personality of Kali will flourish. Kali came when Krishna left, but when Krishna left, Parikshit Maharaj was ruling the earth, and Kali could not do his job. Basically, Kali came here for a job, because in the previous chapter they showed that Parikshit Maharaj said you can only live in these four places plus where there is gold. So the four places were where the four regulative principles come from, that Prabhupada has brought very clearly. It's written in all his temples. These are the four regulative principles. So then Maharaj Parikshit had to leave so that Kali could do its job, his job. 7. Maharaj Parikshit was a realist, like the bees who only accept the essence of a flower. He knew perfectly well that in this age of Kali, auspicious things produce good effects immediately, where inauspicious acts must be actually performed to render effects. So he was never envious of Kali. I didn't fully understand that. 8. Maharaj Parikshit considered the less intelligent men find the personality of Kali to be very powerful, but those who are self-controlled have nothing to fear. The king was powerful like a tiger and took care for the foolish, careless persons. 9. O sages, as you ask me, I have now described almost everything regarding the narrations about Krishna in connection with the history of the pious Maharaj Parikshit. 10. Those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and qualities of God who acts wonderfully. There you go. So we need to hear all topics connected with transcendental activities and qualities of God. 11. The good sages said, O grave Suta Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame, for you are speaking very nicely about activities of Krishna, God. This is just like nectar for mortal beings like us. So the sages were saying, thank you for giving us this nectar. 12. We have just begun the performance of this fruitive activity, a sacrificial fire, without certainty of its result due to the many imperfections in our action. Our bodies have become black from the smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of God, Govinda, which you are distributing. They're saying they're doing a sacrificial fire, but there are many imperfections, and but what is perfect is the nectar of Govinda which you're distributing. 13. The value of a moment's association with a devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter, and what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. A moment's association with the devotee of the Lord is not compared even to liberation. A moment's association. This is so powerful. A moment's association with a devotee, not with the Lord, but with a devotee of the Lord, cannot be compared to Swarglok. Of course, Swarglok is just stupid. It's like going into with just a higher planetary system within this world. So we're still in the cycle of birth and death, and it's just so stupid. Or liberation from matter, which is going to Brahma, merging with Brahman. What to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are those for those who are meant for death. 14. The personality of God Krishna is the exclusive shelter for all living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Brahma. Can anyone who is expert at relishing nectar ever be fully satiated hearing topics about him? God is the exclusive shelter for everyone, and his attributes cannot even be measured by Shiva and Brahma. So if we get to the place where we're relishing nectar, relishing rasa, bhakti rasa, then we will not be ever satiated hearing about him, and all of these material things that we're falling for, they are just going to go. 15. O Suta Goswami, you are learned and a pure devotee of the Lord because God is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord which are above material conception, for we are anxious to receive such messages. 16. O Suta Goswami, please describe those topics by the Lord of the Lord by which Maharaj Parikshit, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of birds. Those topics were vibrated by the son of Vyas, Srila Shukadev. 17. Thus, please narrate to us the narrations of the Unlimited, for they are purifying and supreme. They were spoken to Maharaj Parikshit, and they are very dear to pure devotees, being full of Bhakti Yoga. 18. Sri Suta Goswami said, O God, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted in birthright simply by serving and following the great who are advanced in knowledge. Even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself of all disqualifications resulting from lower births. 19. And what to speak of those who are under the direction of great devotees, chanting the holy name of the Unlimited, who has unlimited potency. So in the previous text, he's saying even just basically listening, hearing from people who are great and conversing with them, we can cleanse ourselves from all these disqualifications, even if we're in lower births. So what to speak of those who are under direction of, so if you've got initiation from these great devotees, so even just listening to them and conversing them, we can cleanse ourselves. If we're chanting the holy name and under their direction getting initiated, then I mean, what to speak of that? The personality of Godhead, unlimited in potency and transcendental attributes, is called Ananta, unlimited. 20. It is now ascertained that He, God, is unlimited and none is equal to Him. Consequently, no one can speak of Him adequately. Great demigods cannot obtain the favor of the goddess of fortune even by prayers, but this very goddess renders service unto the Lord, though He is unwilling to have such service. 21. Who can be worthy of the name of God but Krishna? Brahmaji collected the water emanating from the nails of his feet in order to award it to Lord Shiva as a worshipful welcome. This very water, Ganga, is purifying the whole universe, including Lord Shiva. So the water is, Ganga is coming from Bhagwan Shri Krishna's nails and given to Lord Shri Krishna. 22. Self-controlled persons who are attached to Supreme Lord Shri Krishna can all of a sudden give up the world of material attachment, including the gross body and subtle mind, and go away to the highest perfection of renounced order of life, by which non-violence and renunciation are consequential. So Hari Parshad Prabhu was saying that what is more important? Do we have to, like, how does the order form? Do we have to be renunciate first and then we can do bhajan and attain rag for Bhagavan Shri Krishna? Or we do bhajan and then we get cleansed, anartha nivritti? So he was saying very much, definitely he gave Shastric reference to that. And I don't remember it, but we do bhajan first and we develop rag, and that process will help us cleanse and do anartha nivritti. So we do not need to first cleanse ourselves and then, like, it doesn't have to follow that order. It cannot follow that order, in fact. We have to do bhajan. 23. Um, So I'm not sure how it fits in 22. 23. O Rishis who are as powerfully pure as the sun, I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu as far as my knowledge is concerned. As the birds fly in the sky as far as their capacity allows, so do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as their realization allows. Yeah, that's true. We can only describe the Lord as far as our realization allows, and we can, as far as our knowledge is. We can't give more than we have. So that then Sutta Goswami is saying, I shall try to describe as much as my realization allows. 24-25. Once upon a time, Maharaj Parikshit, while engaging in hunting in the forest with bows and arrows, became extremely fatigued. So he is telling the story. Good, okay. Extremely fatigued, hungry, and thirsty while following the stags. While searching for a reservoir of water, he entered the hermitage of the well-known Shamik Rishi and saw the sage sitting silently with closed eyes. So Shamik Rishi is the name. 26. The Muni's sense organs, breath, mind, and intelligence were all restrained from material activities, and he was situated in a trance apart from the three: wakefulness, dream, and unconscious, having achieved a transcendental position qualitatively equal with the supreme absolute. Wow, he was in samadhi, I guess. 27. The sage in meditation was covered by a skin of a stag, and long compressed hair was scattered all over him. The king, whose palate was dry from thirst, asked him for water. 28. The king, not received by any formal welcome by means of being offered a seat, a place, water, and sweet addresses, considered himself neglected, and so thinking he became angry. Any desire leads to anger. This is Hari Parshad Prabhu. 29. O Brahmanas, the circumstances having distressed him with extreme hunger and thirst, the king directed towards the sage his anger and envy, which he had never directed towards a Brahmana. He had never done this before. 30. While leaving, the king, being so insulted, picked up a lifeless snake, a dead snake, with his bow and angrily placed it on the shoulder of the sage. Then he returned to his palace. 31. Upon returning, he began to contemplate and argue with himself whether the sage has actually been in meditation with senses concentrated and eyes closed, or whether he had just been feigning trance just to avoid receiving a lower kshatriya. 32. The sage had a son who was very powerful, being a Brahmana's son. While he was playing with inexperienced boys, he heard of his father's distress, which was occasioned by the king. Then and there the boy spoke as follows. 33. The Brahmana's son, Shringi, said, Oh, just look at the sins of the rulers who, like crows and watchdogs at the door, perpetrate sins against their masters, contrary to the principles of governing servants. 34. The descendants of the kingly orders are definitely designated as watchdogs, and they must keep themselves at the door. On what grounds can dogs enter the house and claim to dine with the master on the same plate? Wow. He was like, yeah, this is your watchdogs. You should stay at the door and watch. You cannot enter and dine with my father. 35. After the departure of Krishna Bhagwan, the supreme ruler of everyone, these upstarts have flourished and are protected being gone. Therefore, I myself shall take up this matter and punish them. Just witness my power. 36. The son of the rishi, his eyes red hot with anger, touched the water of river Kaushika while speaking to his playmates and discharged the following thunderbolt of words. 37. The Brahmana's son cursed the king thus: On the seventh day from today, a snake bird will bite the most wretched one of that dynasty, Maharaj Parikshit, because of his having broken the laws of etiquette by insulting my father. So after 7 days, a snake bird will bite him and kill him. 38. Thereafter, when the boy returned to his hermitage, he saw a snake on his father's shoulder, and out of his grief he cried very loudly. 39. O Brahmanas, the rishi who was born in the family of Angira Muni heard his son crying and gradually opened his eyes and saw the dead snake around his neck. 40. He threw the dead snake aside and asked his son why he was crying, whether anyone had done him harm. On hearing this, the son explained to him what happened. 41. The father heard from his son that the king had been cursed, although he should never have been condemned, for he was the best amongst all human beings. The rishi did not congratulate his son, but on the contrary began to repent, saying, Alas! What a great sinful act was performed by my son. He has awarded a very heavy punishment for an insignificant offense. 42. O my boy, your intelligence is immature, and therefore you have no knowledge that the king, who is the best amongst human beings, is as good as God. He is never to be placed on an equal footing with common men. The citizens of this state live in prosperity, being protected by his unsurpassable prowess. 43. My dear boy, the Lord who carries the wheel of a chariot is represented, when he was protecting Arjun, I guess, is represented by a monarchical regime, and when this regime is abolished, the whole world becomes filled with thieves who then at once vanquish the unprotected subjects like scattered lambs. 44. Due to the termination of monarchical regimes and the plundering of people's wealth by rogues and thieves, there will be great social disruptions. People will be killed and injured, animals and women will be stolen, and for all these sins we shall be responsible. 45. At that time, the people in general will fall systematically from the path of progressive civilization in respect to the qualitative engagements of castes and orders of society and Vedic injunctions. Thus, they will be more attracted to economic development for sense gratification, and as a result, there will be unwanted population on the level of dogs and monkeys. Wow, okay, we're definitely seeing that, although it's going down now. 43. The Emperor Parikshit is a pious king. He is highly celebrated and is a first-class devotee of the personality of Godhead. He is a saint amongst royalty, and he has performed many horse sacrifices. When such a king is tired and fatigued, being struck with hunger and thirst, he does not at all deserve to be cursed. 47. Then the rishi prayed to the all-pervading God to pardon his immature boy who had no intelligence and who committed the great sin of cursing a person who was completely free from all sins, who was subordinate, and who deserved to be protected. 48. The devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. 49. The sage thus regretted the sin committed by his own son. He did not take the insult paid by the king very seriously. 50. Generally, the transcendentalists, even though engaged by others in the dualities of the material world, are not distressed, nor do they take pleasure in worldly things, for they are transcendentally engaged. Yeah. So, what is sounding like is that in Dwapar Yuga, people did care about their spiritual growth more than their economic growth. And in Kali Yuga, that is the thing that has shifted and turned around, that people don't care about their spiritual growth. Economic growth and everything material is more important, and spiritual growth has taken the back seat. Okay, so that's it for this chapter. We'll do chapter 19 in the next video. Wish you a day filled with lots and lots and lots of Krishna Bhagwan's mercy and lots of intelligence from him to be able to focus on and put attention and put time and energy and focus onto what is important rather than what is not important. Wish you a beautiful day. Radhe Radhe.